Safe storage. Keep your guns locked up. Accessible guns demand extra precautions. Guns are safest when least accessible. Unloaded, locked up, ammunition locked in another location. Keep your family safe. Keep the children and weapons safe. One thing to keep in mind, you're going through this training. You obviously have firearms. Whether or not you even own firearms, it's probably a good thing to teach your kids what to do in the case that they're at a friend's house and they see a gun. So I'll have a video up shortly on a classroom for the kids. Very fun, easy, very light. I'll actually have my kids involved in it as well. So take a look at that video. So 4 basic commands we teach the kids. If you see a gun, stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult. We don't want your kid to stay there trying to talk the other kid out of putting the gun down, or worse yet, passing the gun from one to the next. I guarantee they don't know how to pass the gun safely. Even if they did, I guarantee you wouldn't want them without supervision when passing or handling a gun. So keep that in mind. Stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult immediately. Okay, cleaning the gun. The most important reason for keeping your gun clean is to prevent malfunctions, right? I mean, this is a carry class. We have to have our gun. When we need the gun, we need it. So it needs to operate and operate flawlessly. The way to do that is to keep it clean. Get all the dirt and buildup of gunpowder deposits out of the gun. And then after that, use a thin coat of oil to keep the gun lubed up. However, when you are going back to the range, or if it is your carry gun, you want to clean it, you want to lube it, then you want to dry it again. You don't want to shoot a gun with a wet barrel or oil-coated barrel. If you're storing your gun, or it's not your carry gun, you want that oil in there. It helps to prevent rust. So keep in mind, oil when you're setting it and leaving it, and dry when you're going to use it. Or if it's your carry gun, you don't know when you're going to use it, keep it dry. Alright, now we're going to take a look at how to safely and effectively clean your firearm. First thing to note, read your instruction owner's manual prior to cleaning your firearm for the first time. There's going to be tips on how to break down the firearm and take care of a true full cleaning. Okay, so once you have that, you need a cleaning kit. I happen to like the Hops 9 cleaning kit. They sell them in a number of different varieties. Some are smaller kits designated for 1 to 4 or 5 calibers. And then you can get other extensive kits where they'll essentially cater to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 different types of calibers. So, cleaning a firearm. First off, we want to take a look at, there's 2 different types of cleanings of a firearm. This is the SR22 Ruger. It's a brand new gun, so it's come out of the factory, only test firing 1 round. I just want to make sure the bore is clean and dry prior to shooting. If you have the bore wet, or if there's any debris in the barrel, the gun is actually potentially going to have problems with firing and could damage the barrel. So first and foremost, let's make sure the gun is unloaded. Like we said, we're going to drop the magazine. We're going to rack the slide a few times, manually lock the slide back, and visually inspect. You can even touch in there, make sure you don't knock that slide forward and hit your hand, but you can even touch in there to feel if there's any rounds in the barrel. So, gun is completely empty. We're going to take a look at how to not field strip or break down the gun, but first we're going to look at just wiping the gun down, getting ready for storage. So, we have a rag. The rag needs to be lubed up with the hops or other variety of lubricating oil specific to firearms, by the way, not just WD-40 or any of your household multi-purpose oils. You want to definitely use a lubricant for firearms. So you're going to liberally spray down the rag, maybe rub it in a bit. And before I clean a gun, I want all metal parts to be lubed up and oiled properly. The oil will actually prevent tarnish, rust, help prevent, I should say, won't eliminate, but help prevent tarnish and rust. Now, being that this firearm's new, I've got all the metal components wiped down, just a rough wipe down. I can now, don't forget your magazine. I can wipe down my magazine as well, the metal components. And then I can store my firearm ready to go. Now, once I take the firearm out, what I want to do is I want to make sure, like I said, the barrel is clean and dry. So, at that point, I'm ready to go shooting for the day at the range, at a friend's house, wherever you're going shooting. Once again, you've set the gun down. We're going to check and make sure it's unloaded. Yes, the gun is unloaded. I'm going to take my gun out and I'm going to dry and clean the barrel. As you can see, that one round that they shot at the factory, this gun's never been shot before, but that one round actually produces a little bit of dirt in the barrel. So it's now clean and dry. Matter of fact, I'll lock the slide open just to get that rod all the way through. As you can see, the rod goes all the way through. Now the barrel's clean and dry, ready to have a fun day at the range. Okay, now the range session is over. The gun is dirty. We're going to clean the gun. Let's say we shot 100 rounds out of it. So not too much shooting. We definitely need to clean the gun, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at how to do that now. Alright, get that gun cloth over. So, now the gun definitely has debris in and around the barrel, the action, a lot of the moving parts, probably even some powder residue up on top. What we're first going to do, once again, check, make sure the gun's unloaded, rack the slide, manually slide lock it open, visually inspect, and we can physically inspect that as well. Gun is now unloaded, yet dirty. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the powder solvent. This helps break down any gunk, grime, leftover projectile pieces, whether they be lead or any other type of material in your barrel. And we're going to get a caliber specific brush. This is a very coarse brush. It comes in your kit. Again, caliber specific. We're going to liberally coat that with some of the lubricant. And we're now going to go in and out. In and out of the barrel. Sometimes it helps to get it at a resting point. Be careful not to get your fingers in and around the action. Cleaning a gun not only is dangerous because people sometimes don't check if they're loaded, but they're also dangerous just for, you know, cuts with the slide or the action moving forward. So be very careful to keep your fingers away from the action. Grip the gun firmly. Go in and out, loosening up any of that debris that was in there. Good 5 or 6 times would be sufficient. We're going to move that aside. Now we're going to go back to our wad. We're going to insert, picking up that loose debris As you can tell, that is really dirty now. So although one shot was fired out of this gun, 22 caliber SR22 from the factory, it's dirty. So we'll get a clean piece in here. We're going to run through the gun again. Now, still a little bit of dirt, but if you're going to shoot, within a couple weeks, I would say this is pretty sufficient. It doesn't need to be, the white glove affair, unless the gun's going to be sitting for 4, 5, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years. Let's say it's not a carry gun and you don't shoot it all the time, but it's just another gun you have for recreational purposes. You might want to get this really, really clean if it's going to be stored for a while. So now the gun with the brush, we've knocked out all the loose particles. We've picked them up, right, with this piece of paper, wad, some call it. I think the technical term is wad. So we have that. Then, finally, we don't want to store, just like we don't want to store the metal components on the outside of the gun dry, we want to also store the barrel wet. And what we're going to do before we store the gun is we're going to get that lubricating oil, gun specific lubricating oil, put a couple drops on it. We're going to reach back inside that barrel, just give it a couple passes to keep the inside of that barrel, prevent that from rusting out. Nice and clean. Then we're going to wipe off the excess. The excess will come off of the muzzle and or the inside of where the round sits inside the barrel. So we're going to wipe that off. Get inside and get that nice and clean. And once again, don't forget the magazine. Insert it into the gun. Ready to go. I'll even go as far as take this. I clean my guns one at a time. Take the rag that's got the oil on it and just set it in the gun safe like so. Keep in mind, this is a polymer frame. So it's plastic, very corrosion resistant. So the only thing I'm really worried about is the slide, the barrel, and the internal components. Now that's just a basic run through of cleaning a gun when you've shot limited rounds through it.